But choosing his latest, complicated role in a film called Minari was relatively easy.
I read the script and I was blown away. I was in tears. Woo! Woo! Seeing the words of how a life similar to mine could be put on a page was very liberating. And I was just like, oh, cool, I gotta do this.
And it left you in tears.
Oh, yeah. This thing continues to leave me in many, many tears. I've been crying throughout this whole process.
Did you have any idea what you were getting into when you read for that part?
No, I was just trying to work. You know what I mean? Like, I was just trying to work.
For Yeun, Glenn represented someone not seen on TV before.
An Asian American character that wasn't explicitly defined by his race or talked about in that way.
Still, Glenn had limits.
He's always a good guy. He has to do the right thing at all times.
Doing okay?
Yeah, doing great. And it almost then felt like in order for this Asian American character to exist, he has to be useful.
So then when you left Walking Dead, was it good guy role after good guy role?
Yeah, it's not that there's anything wrong with those things, but it's that we can only be those things. And I think that's the battle.
우리 농장은 필요한 걸 다.
But choosing his latest, complicated role in a film called Minari was relatively easy.
I read the script and I was blown away. I was in tears.
Woo! Woo! 또! Woo! 무서워.
Seeing the words of how a life similar to mine could be put on a page was very liberating. And I was just like, oh, cool, I gotta do this.
And it left you in tears.
Oh, yeah. This thing continues to leave me in many, many tears. I've been crying throughout this whole process.
여기 대체 어디야?
집이지?
Yeun plays Jacob, a Korean immigrant who moves his family from California to an Arkansas farm in pursuit of his American dream.
Jacob, he's an interesting man. He decided once he got to America that he doesn't want to be around other Korean Americans, and he wants to strike out on his own into the Wild West, in a way, to Arkansas.
Writer-director Lee Isaac Chung based the film, which was shot in Oklahoma over 25 days, on his own family's story.
For me, this film is about a family, first and foremost, that moves to a brand new place in a whole new situation that they've never been in, and they only have each other.
Steven Yeun saw his family in the movie, too. This movie is about the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad had his own American dream. What was that?
Well, my dad, he was an architect in Korea. He was doing well for himself, and he took a business trip over to Minnesota, and he told me that he saw the land, and he was like, I need to move here. And then my dad had to restart from scratch.
The Yuns left South Korea when Stephen was 4 and ended up in Michigan, with hopes that their son might someday go to med school.
I really broke my parents down from an early age. I didn't give him any false hope that I was gonna be a doctor. I think it was just like, let me take a bio class, and then I'll show you the grade that I get, so you know that this is not for me.
Yeun went to college to study psychology, but when he joined an improv group, everything changed.
It kind of just like clicked in for me, and I was like, that is fascinating.
Why do you think it clicked?
Maybe it was freedom.
After graduation, he earned a coveted spot with the Second City Improv in Chicago. His parents were supportive of his career choice, to a point.
My parents and my worried uncles and aunts told my cousin Mikey to call me to persuade me away from doing this. And then Mike calls and he's like, hey man, look, my mom and dad told me to call you to like tell you to stop doing this, but like just do whatever you want. I'm just like, just do it.
So Yeun took a huge leap. He left the Midwest and headed to Hollywood. How scary was that?
It wasn't that scary, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I just woke up one day and I was like, I gotta go. I told everybody I was moving, so I couldn't back out.
And at the tender age of 26, Steven Yeun won what was essentially the casting lottery, that part on The Walking Dead. How soon after you got to LA were you able to find work?
I botched a bunch of auditions because I was so nervous. And then 6 months after I had gotten there, which is not a popular thing to tell, I apologize.
6 months.
Yeah.
And you apologize for that?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
happened
My
too
bad.
fast.
Yeah, I just, that's usually not the traditional journey. So I'm very grateful.
Steven, line in the middle, please. Steven.
Now, his non-traditional journey has earned the 37-year-old a bunch of Oscar predictions. If they're right, he'd be the first Asian American nominated for Best Actor. But to Stephen Yeun, married father of two, the film itself is a gift.
To have kind of understood my parents in such an immersive and profound way that I don't think anyone else has ever experienced in this way, to like act it out in a movie, that's crazy.
And he got to watch it with his parents at Sundance.
After the movie was done, I looked over at my dad, and then he put his hand on my shoulder, and then I reciprocated, and then we just like sobbed.
What do you think gets to you talking about this?
It's a reconnection. I think generations miss each other right now. So it's connection that's making me emotional.